We're a bit outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and here in Texas, there are a ton of legendary barbecue spots. And today, we're going to be trying one of them.
Yes, so here in Texas, we have a magazine called Texas Monthly,
Yeah.
and they're always talking about places, people, and events here in the state of Texas.
Hmm.
And every 4 years, they always post the #1 best barbecue place in the state of Texas. And we are here to check out the #1 place on their list.
Yeah.
It's called Goldie's BBQ.
Yeah. And as you can see it in the background over there, we got to get in line. Super excited to try this out.
Let's go. Guys, so we are super excited. We got our food, we got all the proteins. We got a half a pound of pork ribs, we got a half a pound of turkey, we got a half a pound of brisket, then we got one of their sausage links. We decided to go with our jalapeno cheddar sausage link, and then we got a pound of their beef brisket. And then, we can't just have barbecue without the sides. And so we went with their potato salad, their pork hash, which I'm really excited to try. And then we also got their brisket pinto beans. And then you'll have to stay tuned what we top everything else off with.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be trying is going to be their turkey. Now, this is a true test to Great Texas Barbecue. You either test it with its chicken or the turkey. And the reason why is because it's very easy to overcook and get it to be very dry. So I'm hoping for juicy and tender. So let's give it a shot. Oh, you can tell the seasoning on the outside. Okay. It falls apart. It's very tender and extremely juicy. Now, the great thing about the rub that they're using is that you can taste it throughout the turkey, but it doesn't lose its identity. It still tastes like turkey. It still has that great turkey flavor, but the seasoning just knocks it up a notch. This is a true test. This is very juicy and tender, so, check that off the list.
Okay, guys, I'm really excited. If I wasn't excited about anything else, I am excited about everything, but I'm even more excited to try their brisket. And look at this. Look at this brisket. Look at the jiggle of that brisket. So, their brisket here, obviously, it's got a little bit of fat, a little bit of lean mixed there together, and it's got that nice dry rub on that bark. But man, look at that. Look at how gorgeous that is. I cannot wait to take a bite into this. Ready? Oh my gosh. That tenderness. Talk about fall apart in your mouth. That lean side of that brisket is really good, really soft, really tender. But once you hit the fatty part of that brisket, oh my God, that's the part right there that completely disintegrates in your mouth. And the fact of this dry rub at the very top and how it's permeating all the way down into not just the fatty part, but the lean part of the brisket, oh my God, that flavor profile, chef's kiss.
All right, so this has a very prominent bark. This is their pork rib. Now let's go ahead and see how they do their pork ribs here. Very excited.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can tell how well a pork rib's been smoked when the meat just tears away cleanly from the bone, which is exactly what it just did. Now there is a little bit of a chew to it, which it should have. You know, it's going to be a preferencing. Some like a little bit of chew, some like it to be just super tender and fall apart. It's like a in between both. The bark is very flavorful. You can tell that the seasoning has seeped into the pork and seasoned it very well, but it again doesn't lose its identity. You never want it to lose its identity. This tastes like a pork rib, but a pork rib that has just been elevated. I'm gonna take a bite of this little fatty part. Just literally tears away. Very flavorful. This is a top-notch pork rib.
All right, guys. I am gonna try the pork belly. This, if you guys have watched our channel, you guys know we love pork belly. Now this pork belly looks great. It's got a nice layer of fat and a nice layer of like that lean pork. And the bark here with this dry rub looks so good and it looks super juicy. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in. My God. This pork belly, I will tell you, if you guys notice when I took that bite, it is literally just melt in your mouth. There is no requirement to chew. Just kiss it, pull it, and just let it melt in your mouth. The flavor here of the pork, I love that it's still tasting like pork, but the fact of this dry rub that they add on here and how it permeates through into the actual rib, and then the hint of fat and lean, oh my God, it is just a wonderful combination, super tender. Okay, so for this pork belly that they offer here at Goldie's, they also serve it with the side of peach sauce. I mean, who would have thought? So I'm actually gonna go ahead and dip it in there, and it's a nice kind of like runny or watery kind of texture, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a bite and see what that does to the flavor. Ooh. So that peach sauce, you really taste that nice peach flavor, that fruity flavor of the peach. But it's just adding just a hint of sweetness to the very beginning of that bite. And then once you continue to chew, you're really getting that flavor of the pork from that pork belly. So I think it's a great compliment. Now, do you have to have it? I don't think so, but if you want to elevate the flavor just a tad bit, go ahead and dip it into that peach sauce.
I feel like I'm Fred Flintstone, you know? Big old brontosaurus rib or something. Okay, let's give it a bite. Oh no.
That was a big bite.
Wow. Okay. This beef rib is like a life-changing experience. So you have the amazing bark on here that you can tell is just seasoned right, but it's not over-seasoned. Like Michelle said, very prominent beefy flavor, very juicy, and also that lean and that fat combining together as you chew just releases more and more of the flavor. Wow. This is a beef rib to get for sure. Okay, so the next thing that I always like to try is going to be the sausage. Okay, now they do make two different kinds of sausages here. So they have their house sausage, but then they also have a jalapeno cheddar sausage, and the cheese is actually Tillamook, so that's good cheese. I hope it's going to be spicy. I hope it's going to retain that original flavor. Let's check it out. Okay. The casing on the outside has a very nice snap. which is one of the things you want to look for when doing barbecue sausage. It's not super spicy, but you do taste that jalapeno, kind of a little bit of a kick. The cheese is very pronounced. If you've never had Tillamook before, it's a very pronounced cheese. You can taste that. But it still has that great sausage smoked flavor. I don't know. It's just amazing.
All right, guys. So this is their SC pork hash. And I think the SC stands for South Carolina. It's like a Carolina style pork hash. So for those of you guys from Hawaii, it's not your typical Hawaii pork hash or shumai, but it looks kind of like shredded pork. And it sits over a bed of white rice. It kind of looks like almost like a jasmine rice, and it's covered with, topped off with green onions. So let's give this a try. Ooh. So the texture of the pork, it is kind of like pork that's been pulled, like pulled pork, ripped apart, super tender, nice porky flavor. And then the fact that it's got rice, white rice, it's sticky rice. So I feel like it almost has like a jasmine-like texture to that rice, which is really good. But that pork flavor in that concoction, it does have a slight heat to it. If you guys have watched our channel before, I personally am not good with heat, but it's kind of like a tolerable heat. And I kind of taste a little bit of like a vinegar background in that pork. It's almost like, taste it again. It actually almost has like a subtle adobo flavor with that vinegar to it. Wow, that is really unique. I would have never thought to have this as a side dish in barbecue, but with that little bit of heat and that good porky flavor, I think it's a great addition to having as a side.
Okay, let's try their brisket pinto beans. You know me, I love my beans. And I love the style of differences in between each barbecue places. Everybody uses something a little bit different. So, pinto beans. Let's try it out. Wow. I really love the like redness and richness of it. Now, there's supposed to be brisket in here as well, and I can already tell, as you can see, that there is brisket. So, let's give it a bite. Ooh, okay. Okay, so first off, the main thing is how's the cook of the beans? They're perfect. A little bit of chew, not mushy, because they're not refried beans or anything like that, right? They're supposed to contain their texture. Perfect texture. The richness and the depth of the actual flavoring of the beans is like off the charts. You can definitely taste some of the juices of that brisket that have mixed with the beans and the spices that they're using. That just gives it a very deep tasting. These are very good pinto beans. Very good.
Okay, guys, can't eat barbecue without some potato salad. So this potato salad looks like it's got several ingredients in there. I'm thinking it looks like it has celery, which is not too common in potato salad, but it's baked with the, it's cooked with the skin on, which adds another texture. So let's give this a try. Celery. So that celery gives it a nice texture. You get that crunch from that celery. It's a nice and really creamy potato salad. I like the addition of the skin in there. Gives it another nice slight chew to that texture. It's creamy and it's got more of like a mayonnaise base, but I also get like a little bit of a tang. So I'm not sure if they add maybe like a little bit of mustard in there, but it's not that yellowish color that you usually get from like a yellow based potato salad. But overall, I love that creaminess. The potatoes are cooked really well, nice and soft, and it's just blended real well into there with just slight chunks here and there. But overall, really good potato salad.
So, a staple in Texas barbecue, they always give you bread, right? Here's some bread, here's some white bread, here's some bread. And that's as much as you want. But this place was like, nah, we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna make all of our bread in-house, and this is where it's at right here. So I'm gonna give it a taste, see what it's all about. I rave reviews about this bread, so I'm hoping for like head explosion. So let's see.
Need help?
Oh,
No, I'm good.
wow. Okay. So you can see that little bit of darkness around the outside edges. Do not take it as if it's burnt. I think it's in the way that they prepare the bread that gives it just that very nice crunch, right? But also gives it that darkness. The bread is very fluffy, but yet still has like a substantial bite to it. I don't know how they pulled that off, but they did it. I feel like if I'm not holding it tight enough, it's gonna fly away. Now, it does have a very subtle sweetness, but I would not compare this to like, let's say, Hawaiian bread or anything around that nature. But there is a little bit of a sweetness to it. I think this is very complimentary because you're having that savory barbecue to have the bread with just a hint of sweetness to kind of calm some of that down and balance it out. This is very good bread. Okay, so as you can see here, a little bit of a change of environment. It's starting to get a little hot outside. There is a nice breeze, but you know, sometimes it's a little too much. So we decided to enjoy our desserts in a nice little cool comfort to the car. So what I decided to go with is their banana pudding. Now everything is made in-house, so this is obviously in-house banana pudding. So I cannot wait. I love banana pudding. It's one of my favorite desserts, so I hope it's gonna just knock my socks off. So let's give it a try. You can see here there's nice little chunks of banana, and we also have some chunks of vanilla wafers as well. So let me see. Okay. So there's still, I don't know if you heard that crunch. There's still a little bit of a crunch from the vanilla wafer. The banana flavoring is very pronounced, but it doesn't overwhelm. You can also tell that there's like a vanilla flavor to it. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it is what it is. You can taste the vanilla. It's nice and creamy. It's hearty, but yet still very light. And I think the flavoring is perfect. I like for my banana pudding to be pronounced. That's exactly what this is. So let me grab another bite just to confirm. It's nice and creamy, nice good texture. Yeah, if you're gonna get one of the desserts, this might have to be on your list.
Guys, my turn for dessert. What I decided to go with was their bread pudding. And they only sell the bread pudding on Sundays. So we're all lucky. Today's Sunday. So look at this. Let's give this a try. Ooh. That is delicious. So in their bread pudding, since they make their bread in-house, they use that same bread to make the bread pudding. And you know, with bread pudding, it's usually got eggs, milk, butter, sugar, vanilla extract. And since their bread already had just that nice subtle hint of sweetness to it, you can taste that sweetness here, in addition to obviously the other ingredients. But it's got a really nice texture of that bread. It's not too creamy. It's still kind of got some dense parts from the bread. But overall, I can taste a little bit hint of that vanilla in there. It's super fresh tasting. Like, you can definitely tell that it's made in-house, that it's homemade ingredients in here. It's not store-bought or anything like that. It's not too sweet, but just gives you that nice little sweetness that you kind of need after eating all of that savory goodness from all of that barbecue.
I mean, definitely an experience. 100% an experience, and something you need to experience.
If you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Goldie's BBQ is a definite must try.
Yeah. Now, shout out to them having seats that you can use while you're waiting in line. They know that they're going to have a line. They know that people are wanting to try this food and are going to be there super early. So there's like these complimentary like little lawn seats or something like that. Yeah, or camping seats that you would use. And so they're just there for you to grab and sit down while you wait for the amazing food.
Yes, because Goldie's is only open 3 days a week.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they open up at 11, and they are open till 2 or till they sell out.
Yeah.
And today, we asked the first 2 that were in line what time did they show up.
Exactly.
And they showed up at 7:30 on the dot. And again, they open at 11. And we actually showed up at 9:45 when we got here, because we did hear that Sunday was their slower of the 3 days.
Yes. Now, they are extremely like personable. Is that personable? Right? They're extremely personable. Very just nice and welcoming, and know that you are there for one thing, and it's to try their amazing barbecue. And so they just try to elevate that on top of that. It's just being so nice.
Yeah, it's just an overall experience, not with just the food, but with their customer service.
Yeah, customer service is like top notch. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video, right? So let's talk about sides. So when it comes to the sides, the brisket pinto beans was very, very good. Now, I love my texture in my beans. I do love refried beans, but if they're going to be pinto, if they're type of like a ranch style or something like that type of bean, it has to have a bite to it and a chew, and it perfectly had that. Now, the additive of the brisket made it meaty, made it very rich. It was just something you just have to get. I think you just have to get it.
Yeah, and then the other 2 sides that we got was their SC pork hash. And let me tell you, I would have never thought to have that as a side, but it kind of does bring in a little bit of the barbecue history, because the pork hash itself was kind of like almost similar to like a pulled pork.
Yeah, like a pulled pork.
Yeah, it was just, shreds and shreds of pork. And then the fact that it had that very hint of vinegar, almost kind of like an adobo flavor over a bed of rice, I think that was purely a very unique addition to have in barbecue. And then, of course, classic. You cannot have barbecue without potato salad on the side.
I mean, that's just a staple. That's
and their potato salad, I would have never thought to put celery in it, but it gave it such a great texture with that crunch. And then that slight tanginess in there. It wasn't heavily based on mustard, but I feel like there was some hints of mustard in there. Nice and creamy. Potatoes were cooked well. Superb sides.
Oh, yeah, superb. Let's talk about how delicious. My mouth is still watering about the meats that we tried here today. I feel like this place is one of those places where you eat and then like 3 hours later, you're still talking about the place that you just ate at 3 hours later. It's
Your mouth is still salivating even after you've eaten it.
In your dreams. Okay, so first off, judging a place by either it's going to be turkey or chicken, right? They're very hard to pull off. And if you can pull them off, that means you're doing something right. The turkey here was flavorful, juicy, not dry at all, very tender, just falls apart. So they knocked that out of the park for sure.
I think it's very hard to do because sometimes barbecue places that have turkey, they come out really dry.
Yeah.
And it's not as flavorful, but here they have succeeded on both those items.
Oh, definitely.
Flavorful, tender, juicy.
And then what did you think about the brisket?
I feel like their brisket, we've tried barbecued, Texas BBQ, many places, but I feel like their brisket is absolutely top notch. The tenderness in that brisket, talk about fall apart in your mouth. Before you can even grab it, it's already falling apart. But I think that one of the unique things about their brisket here at Goldie's is that they actually make their own tallow.
Oh, yeah.
And so the tallow, it's kind of like it's kind of almost similar use to like as butter, but it's made from all of the fat trimmings that they cut off on the beef brisket, and then they slow cook that and render it down. And then once the brisket is actually done from the smoker, they go ahead and pour the tallow all over it and then seal it up and just let it rest. And I think that technique just makes it so tender, juicy and just unbelievably flavorful.
Yes, and if you're not familiar with like Texas style barbecue, brisket is a staple. It's like one of those things you need to master, and if you can't, then it's kind of not Texas barbecue. So it's just amazing here. It's literally amazing here.
What did you think about that beef rib?
I'm telling you, I felt like I was like Fred Flintstone. Like I had just a big old Brontosaurus rib, and I was just having my way with it. Yeah, it was juicy. It was very, very tender. See, here's the thing. Sometimes you can get a beef rib that just has a ton of fat, and then you don't get a lot of meat. This one had a perfect ratio and balance between the two. So when you would get that bite, you'd get the fat, you'd get the flavor, but then you'd also get the leanness and that chew, and then just the rub. I don't know. It's the pinnacle of a beef rib. It's just very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Then the pork ribs.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Then the pork ribs.
So the pork ribs, the way that Goldie's does it is that they go ahead and smoke their pork ribs. And then when it's done, they pull it out. They actually sauce it and put their own barbecue sauce and just put a nice glaze over it, wrap it up, let it sit. And I think that the glaze from their barbecue sauce, their house-made Goldie's barbecue sauce, it just infuses all of the flavor and that rub that they already put, that dry rub, and just makes it superb.
Oh, it's so good. Let's talk about the sausage. And one of the things that I really want to try from each of the barbecue places is going to be the sausage, because I'm just a huge fan. That sausage with the Tillamook cheddar cheese, then the jalapeno that gave just a little bit of spiciness, and then it still had that original kind of sausage flavor. I mean, it was so good. There was one bite that I took that was just full of cheese. Man, it was so good.
And if you guys have watched our channel before, I don't do well with heat.
Yeah.
But I will say that the jalapenos in there, it was a nice balance of jalapenos, and it wasn't too spicy. It just had a very subtle hint of spice, but it was flavored very well with that jalapeno flavor throughout. And then the added cheese was just great. And had a nice snap too.
And so, what did you think about
the pork belly? Man, that pork belly, me and that pork belly, we became extremely close friends.
Yes. If you've watched any of our other videos, we absolutely adore pork belly. So this just gave us another reason to adore pork belly.
And the addition of the peach sauce that they give. So the pork belly by itself alone is superb. The flavor of the rub, again, it just permeated nice and through, all the way down from the porky layer to the lean parts of that pork belly. But the fact of the matter is they give you this nice peach sauce to kind of add to it. And I would have never thought to add that. But again, adding that just for that nice hint of sweetness and continuing to chew and get that pork flavor still through and through, I think was an excellent addition to the pork belly.
Last but not least, and we're not saying that it's bad or any of that good stuff, is going to be a staple with your Texas barbecue, and that's going to end up being the bread.
Because you can always make a sandwich. You can always kind of just eat it hand in hand with the protein and the bread. But here at Goldie's, what's so special about their bread? Yeah,
so it's all in-house made, homemade bread. It's very fluffy. That nice little darkness to the outside. It almost looks like a sear, almost like it's been baked too much, but it's not. It just adds a nice little crunch to the outside. And then that little bit of sweetness. Yeah, you kind of made some little mini sandwiches with the brisket and the bread. What did you think about that?
Oh, God. I think just nice little subtle sweetness, like Jose said, from the bread, and that savory, beefy flavor from the brisket. You put it all together, and it is just flavors popping in your mouth.
Yes, it was very good. So then it's like just the perfect combinations of everything just hits very well here at Goldie's.
Yeah, and guys, the proteins here at Goldie's, they are absolutely perfect on their own. So much perfectness that we forgot that they actually had barbecue sauce and didn't try it till the very end. But I mean, again, The sauce itself was great. It was just a nice little touch of a nice elevation of flavor
Sure.
to all of the great proteins that they're already putting out for you.
Yeah, but totally did not eat it. Totally did not eat it. It was so good.
But overall, we are so happy that we were able to come and visit Goldie's, and we were so happy that we were able to arrive here in a time frame where we were able to actually try the entire menu and not be sold out, because they did start selling out probably about, I think, an hour and a half, almost an hour and 45 into opening on some of their proteins already. So if you want to try everything on the menu, pro tip, get here early.
Get here early. So we have, we've talked through, throughout the filming of the video and, behind the scenes. Now we understand why Texas Monthly has them as number one.
Yes. I mean, from excellent customer service to great ingredients to just the way that they put together all of their food and bundle it all up in an experience. I mean, we can't speak enough that it is definitely something you can't miss out on.
Yeah, and I can't say, I've tried to think of, the next time that I come back, what could I do without? And I don't think there's anything. It's going to be one of those things where it's one of those places where you see in the movies where they're like, I'll try one of everything, and everybody laughs. This is a try one of everything type of place, and you're not going to regret it.
Yeah, I don't think
No
you
way.
can go wrong with
No way at
anything
all.
that you pick from here. I think probably your only problem that you're going to walk away with is maybe you didn't get enough.
Yes, you didn't get enough, or you're going to end up falling asleep because you're just like,
You need a nap after all of that.
Yes. So 10 out of 10 stop. If you have the chance to come here, you need to do yourself a favor. If you love barbecue in general or Texas barbecue, this has to be a go-to place on your list.
Yep, definitely check it out.
Yes. So if you enjoyed the content, please do us a favor and go down there and hit that subscribe button. It just helps us to build our community here on YouTube, as well as hit the notification bell. Just drops you a nice little notification letting you know that we drop new content.
And guys, come on, if you're already down there, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, but also hit that like button.
Yes.
And then comment down below, have you actually had a chance to come down to Goldie's and try it yourself? Or if not, what of the things that we tried is something that you would definitely be interested in trying?
Yes.
And then don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, Michelle Jose Food and Travel.
Yes. And then, like always, there's going to be links in the description below for the information covering Goldie's. So if you're going to think about coming out here, check out those links and, plan your trip. Now, just real quick, at the very end, we were eating, kind of convening, figuring things out, and we met two very nice couples, and we just kind of started talking story, or just giving that a good old Southern, hospitality type of talk. And they loved it, and we totally forgot to get their names. We're terrible at this. So if you're seeing this video, it was nice to meet y'all. Hope y'all had a great day and a great travels as well.
Yes, and to that other group that we saw from New York, and as you guys can see, everybody's coming from different places.
Yeah.
New York, San Diego, etc.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you guys in line too.
Yes. So, all right. Well, that's it.
Until the next one, guys.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.